Well, I can safely say I love Man United. Actually, I've not got a problem with Arsenal defending and playing the way they play.
As a United fan, I really like Chelsea.
Man United are transitioning, but they're coming back. It feels like they're going to be better under Carrick, and I think it's a great signing getting Carrick in the building. I think football in general is a long way off of that era. I remember sitting with Solomon Kalou when he first signed for Chelsea, talking about his upbringing, his family, and you know there was some boots and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to have these boots. He was like, can I have them? I'm going to send them back home for the kids.
The new football season is upon us, and as usual over in England, there's plenty of talkability around Chelsea Football Club. So we decided here on SuperSport Unplugged, instead of hearing it from anyone else, why not bring in Mr. Chelsea himself? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they do not come bigger than John Terry, regarded as one of the best defenders of his generation, made over 500 appearances as a professional footballer, the vast majority of which, of course, were with his beloved Blues, Chelsea's most successful captain. He's here in studio, and he's going to be telling us all about what he thinks of Chelsea, both pre and post this particular season. So, a great pleasure of mine to have you alongside us, John Terry. Such a great honor to finally meet you. And of course, we've got Miguel Priguero alongside us. He's going to be picking the brain of this esteemed guest of ours. JT, once again, great pleasure to meet you finally. Great pleasure to have you here in South Africa, in this country. 2010, last time you were in South Africa, I do gather. Between then and now, has there been anything that you've seen distinctly change based on what you've seen in your return?
Slightly in the area when I landed and stuff, you can feel the kind of growth of the economy and bits like that, which is really good to see. So I think obviously the World Cup can have an impact like that as well when we were here in 2010. So you can see the uplift of that, which is nice to see, and you feel that as well. And it's great to see everyone's passion for football is still here. Different
experience as a player compared to now being an analyst?
Yeah, more relaxed now. More relaxed. A little bit more nervous when I arrived in 2010, which seems like a lifetime ago.
Migs?
Do you have any, like as a footballer, you have certain things that you do before games or before going into a new country, for example? Now with this different experience from footballer to being in front of camera, do you have any specific things you do in that sense?
I mean, probably the preparation in terms of when you arrive as a player, you're thinking of everything, your equipment, your boots, your shin pads, all of that. You're checking everything, your chargers, your films, all of that side of stuff. Now I'm like, I can just go. If I forget something, I'm good. I don't need, I can go to the shops and replace deodorant or little bits like that. But the essentials of the comforts of home and stuff like that. So small little snacks and stuff that you sneak into your suitcase that you're not really supposed to have at the World Cup, but we ended up doing. So yeah, it's small little bits like that.
Do you have any sort of spots that stand out for you from a South African point of view, as in both maybe as a player and perhaps even now? Is there any particular spot that just stuck with you based on your experience?
Where we were based, there was a really good camp. I can't remember the name of it, but my family were here and they were staying at Sun City, and they went on a couple of safaris, which was great as well. So I was kind of watching and getting all the pictures through while we were working hard at the World Cup base for England. But the family had a really good time, and my kids are a little bit older now. So hopefully when they're older, they've got kids, we can come back as a family and kind of reminisce and stuff like that on safari and bits like that.
So you haven't gone on safari?
I haven't done it officially.
So you have to do it while you're here.
I'd love to do it, We're working, we're busy guys.
That's true. That would have been in Rustenburg, so that would have been Pilansberg Reserve.
That's great.
Your family would have done that. No, it's a fantastic place.
To be fair, you should do it with your family. So
I think it's a life and family experience.
That's right.
Yeah. They'll be unhappy unless we go off and do it separately.
And as far as the cuisine is concerned, anything that stood out for you? Or perhaps this is even a better question. Is there anything that you're just like, I need to stay away from that?
No, you know what? It feels like to me, I'm a really fussy eater. I'm very particular in what I eat before games and after games and stuff. I feel like I'm at home when I'm here. Like I can get the basics. I'm a very basic eater. Steak, fries, some sushi, little bits like that. But I'm quite kind of content of what I like and what I don't like. And it feels like the same here. Like yesterday at my hotel, I had steak and nice salad. You know, the
Biltong?
steak over here, I had some biltong at the airport. I'm trained at the moment, so biltong's good before and after gym.
That's
so
good.
yeah.
Would there be anything, Migs, that you would...
Biltong is for me, I
Yeah.
love biltong. So if I ever tell someone that's coming to South Africa to try something,
Yeah.
it's biltong.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's the best.
Yeah. Well, it tastes little bit
taste
better
is-
here than
it's-
in Europe.
Yes, I think so. I'm very biased.
I feel like that's a staple snack.
It is.
For a South African, right?
Even for football games.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the perfect, you have a bowl of biltong
Yeah.
and wors, and you sort it, 100%.
Anything else that you'd recommend from a South African standpoint?
From a South African
Yeah.
point of view, well, it depends on if you have anything that you don't like, food-wise. But to me, that's my go-to snack. You could go traditional, have like one of those big kotas, which is essentially...
You have to break it
you
down
have to-
for John, what a
so
kota
kota is
is. Yeah,
basically
yeah.
like a big loaf of bread
Yeah.
that's got like a big hole inside of it.
Yeah.
And everything you can imagine, like slap chips, different types of meats,
Okay.
so many sauces, but it's like a combination of, it's an explosion of flavors,
Okay.
basically.
I
It's
might
an
try that because in
experience.
England
think
we
you
have
need
something
to.
similar with like bread and chips inside.
Yes.
Yes.
I grew up on stuff like that.
Oh, so you would love
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then bread, chips, add
Chicken.
a bit of chicken. That's a bit fancy for South Africa. Really? we try to keep it a little less, you know. So add some Russian Vienna.
Russians.
It becomes, as Miguel mentioned,
Okay.
an explosion of flavor.
Yeah.
It might not be the kind of flavor you're sort of looking for. I mean, you're in great shape. That
right.
might sort of take you off
Okay.
your
I'll throw
bike
some
a little
chicken
bit.
in and
It's a post-match
Pass.
meal.
Okay.
It's definitely not something you have before because you're going to be running off that.
I get where we're going. Yeah.
Yeah. I bring that up because, of course, we've not seen you in South Africa since 2010. So for those who are wondering, what has John Terry been up to since retirement as a footballer?
Really busy. Life after football sounds great and you're going to retire and go on the beach and stuff like this. You do that for like 2 months and
Yeah.
then you become really bored.
Yeah.
All your friends are working. You know, I was 38 when I retired. All my friends are working and stuff. It's okay, back to the reality. I need to start working. And actually, I'm working in the academy at Chelsea. So I'm working with the kids from like all age groups, but mainly from like 16 to 21 on that pathway of when they kind of go and join the first team, that transition, helping them feel comfortable because every experience these younger players are going through, I would have been through as a 14-year-old going on to captain Chelsea and playing 717 games. So any experience or feeling they have, I can put them to ease and go, this is fine, I felt that, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all of these moments and stuff. I love what I do. It's a part-time role, I'm not in full-time. I'm doing some kind of sponsorship, ambassador stuff as well around the world and spending some, you know, well-earned family time together as well.
And the one thing that he did mention before we started was his TikTok or social media presence is growing. Over 600,000 followers on TikTok. Was there a reason you felt you needed to go that way? What was the inspiration behind that?
My kids have been on at me for...
Always the kids.
Yeah, always. You know what it's like though, as a parent, your kids, when they were like 14, 15, they're in their room and I'm like, get off your computers, come down, go outside, play football like I did. You know, it sounded like an old man. And they were like, you need to get into this space, this is going huge, blah, blah, blah. And then a year ago, I was like, okay, they could be right. So I had to swallow my pride a little bit. But it's a space I'm getting into because the opportunities now in the social media world are huge. And I think more importantly for me, I don't do a lot of work with the TV companies in the UK. I don't like it. I don't like the environment of it. I think it's very opinionated and you're judged very quickly as well.
Yep.
This has enabled me to have my own voice, my own platform to give my views and the supporters to see the real side of me. Because I think as well, because I've been Chelsea and the rivalry and stuff, I think there's that hatred towards me or other players and stuff. Actually, post-retirement, the rivalry will always be there. Like, we don't like Spurs. We have rivals with Liverpool and Man United and Man City and these guys. But actually, when you retire, you strip it back and go, yeah, that rivalry is there, but we're good people off the back of it as well. And I think it's nice for the supporters to see that real side of the players.
It's the whole idea of footballers becoming characters to the public. They look at them as idols and not people.
Yeah.
And I think being able to tap into the social media space and show your authentic self. We were talking just before this about authenticity and content and the importance of that. And for followers of footballers, seeing that authenticity is like priceless. So
Yeah.
keep doing your TikToks.
Thank you.
And
I will.
we've seen your dance moves as
will.
well.
There might be a little bit more coming, maybe.
That is music to our ears, JT. That is absolute music to our ears. And I'm going to go back to, you just mentioned, of course, the rivalry with Manchester United. And he says this, he's sitting in between two Manchester United fans.
I feel like I'm getting ganged up on here.
No. United, all peace and love, all peace and love.
We love Chelsea more than Arsenal. So you're in a safe space. Yeah.
Well, I can safely say I love Man United more than I love Spurs.
I think we'll take that.
Yeah,
take that.
that's not really a compliment, actually.
We're going to cut it on I love Man United.
No.
Thank you. That's exactly
No.
what we need to do.
No.
A big part of your social media presence as well has been some of your workouts and some of your gym work. And again, I mentioned how good you look. Was there intention behind that, or is it just a case of John Terry keeping up with John Terry? Really?
Yeah, just me. Towards the back end of my career, kind of Instagram and those kind of apps come out, and I was posting some treadmill runs and stuff like that, what I'd done kind of pre-season before I went back to training, and also during the season as well. I often had like a treadmill session that I used to do post-games. So if you played Saturday, Sunday would normally be off.
Yeah.
But for me mentally, it felt like the rest of the Premier League would have a day off. And I felt like I was getting an advantage over those guys by going in the gym and training. And I used to post it to try and get in the heads of other people, go, I should do that. You know, but it's a kind of session that I see loads of different kids do. It's a really tough session on the treadmill.
Yeah.
I think as an ex-player, you don't want to get too big and too fat. So you want to stay in shape, you want to look after yourself. I think more importantly than all of that, I think the mental health side of stuff for me, because I miss being in the dressing room, having these kind of moments with your mates is difficult when you retire. But the fitness side of it and just having an hour or 2 hours in the gym or on the football pitch, you miss that. So you try and replace it with those sessions as well.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that with my wife. She's into her fitness. So we're enjoying moments like this together.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was going to say a great transition now would be to talk about the mental side of things. What has that been like when you retire from football? It's always incredibly difficult, that decision, to be like, I'm hanging my boots up and take that next step post-football. Yeah. What was that experience like?
The transition is really difficult, I have to say, because like I say, from the outside, it's like, I'm going to retire and that's me, I'm going to spend my life relaxing. It's not like that at all. And you really have to find your way. And a lot of players now, I was kind of doing my coaching badges as well. I thought I would go into coaching. So my preparation, the last 4 years of my career was heading towards that. That hasn't happened for me. And I've found other avenues now that I'm not going to go down the coaching route. This is what I'm kind of doing and the spaces I'm in. So I think to have a plan 3 or 4 years post-retirement is really important, I think. So I think for the younger generation now, there's so much of this and they're way better than I am at this as well. So they'll be a lot better and stuff like that.
You have more followers than a lot of them.
Yeah.
So you're on the way up.
I think we spoke about that. Being authentic and being really real. Behind the scenes stuff, when I'm at home, I'm watching games like all the other supporters. I'm giving my natural reactions. Like even a couple of times, I'm like, that's a penalty.
Yes.
And I've posted the video and afterwards I go, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But it's that instinct of, that's how I felt at the time. It looked like it from a defender's point of view. So again, you're giving your views, you're getting feedback and you're learning all the time as well.
Okay, so we found out a fair bit about John Terry, the man, and you speak about reactions. Let's go back to 2025, 2026 for Chelsea Football Club. I assume a lot of it was draped in all kinds of disappointment. How would you best describe what the football club did and how the football club fared?
I think in terms of our season has to be a disappointment, and that goes on historically. We've been so good and we've competed for so many trophies. Obviously, since new ownership has come in, there's been a big transition in terms of the way they do things. They went down a route of signing a lot of young players and also a lot of really good young players. We've seen that this year. There's been some really good players. There's also been some players that are probably not good enough for Chelsea as well, and we've learnt that also. So in terms of the direction, it's been frustrating, I think, for ex-players, for supporters. But all of our clubs, Man United, have been through that transition. You've been so successful, and then you've had a little dip off, and now Michael Carrick's back, and it feels like, to me, it feels like the buzz is back with Man United, and it feels like players are going to want to sign for Man United again. And Chelsea need to get that, because We've got a really good manager coming in Alonso. I think in terms of the people that we could have got, he's probably the best at our level, really, where Chelsea are at the moment. So I'm delighted he's come in. If I'm a player or a midfielder, I'd be excited. If I went and met him, I'd be excited to play under him and play for Chelsea, knowing what the potentials are. So if he gets full reign of signing the players he wants, I think we can only be better next season. Do I think we're going to compete to win the league? No, I don't. I think we're a couple of years off that. But unfortunately, we're in, the Liverpools, the Man United, we're in that transitional period, and we need to catch Arsenal, we need to catch Man City, we need to catch these guys very quickly.
Do you think not having European football, though, will help with a potential title charge? We've seen it in other leagues where teams aren't participate, like Napoli, for example, weren't in Europe and they went on to go on and win Serie A. United weren't in Europe. Yes, they finished third, but since Carrick came in, they were top in terms of points. So do you think that might help Xabi Alonso in terms of his experience, also with Leverkusen going unbeaten, to be able to potentially get Chelsea quite high up on the table?
Yeah.
Do you think that makes a difference?
I think it can, in terms of the league point of view. It's obviously a big disappointment we're not in any European competition, but I think for him to have one focus, the Premier League and the 2 cups, that's it. There's your focus, and you have a squad, injuries and stuff like that. With the more games, the more injuries you're going to get. But interestingly, I always felt I was in the best shape and my best form when I was playing 3 games a week. So when we were playing
That is quite something.
Sunday, Premier League, on a Wednesday night at Stamford Bridge, because what happens is you play Sunday, you rest on Monday, you recover, so you go into training, but you recover. Tuesday, you kind of go outside and start training, preparing for Wednesday's game. Wednesday, you train. Thursday, you recover again. Friday, you kind of start thinking about the game Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday, you play. And as a footballer, you don't really think about too much. But to play 60, this is where I have an issue. To play 60, 65 games a season, not a problem. For any young, fit, robust player, you need to be able to do that at the top. So the balance of both, I think it's going to be good for us, but I also don't think there's a problem with players playing so many games. And also you retire and you wish you could go back and play 1 last game or 5 last games, So enjoy it while you can.
So the interesting thing that I just picked up from there is you mentioned you would have much rather preferred the playing 3 games a week scenario. Just bust a certain myth for us if you can. In that period, let's say in the space of a week, how much new tactics is the coach sort of teaching or showing the players? Or is it a case of just trusting what has been worked on, and in that period of a week, and again, 3 games in a week is actually a very short space of time for 3 games. How much new or how many new sort of ways or tactics are you guys exploring in that period?
Different managers do it differently.
Yeah.
When Mourinho was there, let's talk about him first. When Mourinho was there, it was, we are the best and we're not going to focus on Spurs or West Ham.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys know that we're the better side. We have our structure, we have our plan. This is what we're going to do and we will be better than those guys. And again, when you play Man United or Man City or Liverpool, all of a sudden you go into a meeting room 2 days before a game and go, this feels big. These must be a good side. You watch the videos, the strengths and weaknesses. So you're not really doing loads on the pitch, but the best managers would do that in terms of meetings and stuff like that. So like we are now watching the big screen, watching the opposition for 15, 20 minutes, looking at their weaknesses, how we can exploit that and stuff like that. But as a player, you're in your rhythm, you're in your stride. At Chelsea, we felt fearless. It felt like we were going to win every single game. You look at all the best managers, and I say this quite often, in the Premier League era and the most successful teams, starting with Sir Alex at Man United. He was the one man in charge of the whole football club. Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, exactly the same. Pep Guardiola at Man City, one man in charge. Mourinho, one man in charge. And they've been the most successful. Klopp when he was at Liverpool as well. These guys, and now you're seeing a difference of managers or coaches coming in being run by sporting directors and owners and this, that and the other. Give these guys the responsibility and the reins to drive those standards of the football club and you will see the successes of that.
Do you feel then that with Xabi Alonso, based on exactly what you just said, he's been given a bit of a different role, not necessarily just head coach, or he's got basically the responsibility that you're talking about. A good decision in that regard?
I think so. It certainly looks like that from the outside, and I think he pulls enough weight to be able to sit in those meetings and go, I'll be making the signings. I'm sure that's been the case. And also, you have a lot of intelligence at Chelsea as well. So the sporting directors and the ownership, they have so much intel in terms of players and stuff. You look like we signed Cole Palmer because of the connections of our sporting director. So there's lots of good and pluses from it. But when it comes to decisions, so it's the sporting director's job to put the best options on the table, and then Alonso to go, I want him, go and get that done for me. And then you can build your squad around that as well.
I think the difficulty we're having now is managers and owners starting to clash. So as soon as managers want more, like we saw with Amorim at Man United, Maresca as well at Chelsea, the clashes between ownership and managers. Do you think that on Maresca, that decision brought Chelsea back for further steps, because now having to get Liam Rossinha in, and that was also short-lived, now Xabi Alonso, the relationship between owners and managers, how important is that?
I think it's very important, and I said a minute ago about how important that one person in charge. And I think, and again, I can only speak about my experiences. So when Roman was in charge of the football club, Jose was the manager, Carlo Ancelotti was our manager, and Conte a little bit later. You knew that the manager, Mourinho, Ancelotti, these guys were in charge. If you upset them, regardless of ownership, if you upset those guys, you're out, you're finished. And now it feels a little bit different. It feels like it's structured differently. So in terms of Maresca, I thought he was doing a really good job. There was obviously a clash, but it felt like from the supporters' side that he was just turning the corner a little bit. He was a young coach, he was learning as well, but I think he had really good ideas as well. You're going to get those clashes, but like I said, if you're the manager, you need to manage up really well. You need to understand that you guys want the same thing. You want better players, I'm sure the owner does, and there is a balance. You have to balance the books as well and all of that. So there's conversations that go on, and it's okay to fall out as well. It's okay to have disagreements. That's not the issue. But it's when that filters down, you come down and you keep that to yourself, and you address the players like, this is us, this is a squad we've got, no one else is coming in. So you kind of echo and repeat what the owners said, and I think you owe that to the ownership that are employing you, I think.
And how much of a role does being captain of a club play in terms of that relationship as well? Did you ever have conversations with ownership, or was it purely, if you're going to speak, it's management and there's a hierarchy?
100% there's a hierarchy. And even as captain, it was Jose. You speak to Jose, you wouldn't go direct to Roman. You wouldn't dare go direct to Roman. One, because I'm not sure he would have allowed it. Second of all, Mourinho would have found out, and you would have probably not played again for the football club. So you also have that respect as well. You obviously see the dynamics change and stuff. There's a lot, like owners, not only at Chelsea, you see owners at the training grounds a little bit more often. Sporting directors are based at the training ground. When I was playing, Peter Kenyon was based at Stamford Bridge. If Peter was down the training ground, you knew something was happening, and you felt the presence of it. When Mourinho was there as well, you felt a presence in the room and stuff like that. But you respected those decisions. But as captain, you play the role to manage what you can control, and that's the players, and you drive those standards of the players and what you're told by the manager.
You've referenced that team, that Chelsea team that I think the whole world knows and revered a number of times now. Based on where the current squad is, how much work do you think they need to do to get anywhere near the levels of that team that was captained by John Terry?
And we're a long way off that, I have to say. I think football in general is a long way off of that era. I think you guys are a little bit younger than me, or quite a lot younger than me. But I think we all miss the generation that I played in. Now that's nostalgia a little bit. It feels like there was bigger and better players at the time as well. It just felt like football was in a better place. Now VAR's come in, the game's moved on, the game's changed a little bit. There's too much diving, there's too much contact, set plays, corner kicks. It feels like it's being run by people that shouldn't run the game, really. Let's just get on with the football side of it. Let's make it competitive. Let's make it aggressive. And let's get football back to what it needs to be. And I think fans want to sit at home. You don't want to sit in a stadium and not cheer because you're not sure if it's going to be a goal, and a finger now is offside and it's now ruled offside. So let's strip it back. And actually, we're in South Africa. It's where VAR really started from the Frank Lampard goal.
That's
Really?
right.
I don't remember that. What happened?
A very. If that goal goes in, it's 2-2 at half time. It's a different game, that one. But that's where it kind of originated. And I think at that time, as an England player, we were like, that has to come in. Goal line technology has to come in. I have to say, I think that's been a really big plus with the watch on the referees. Is it over the line? The ghost goal at Liverpool that haunts me still in the Champions League as well, that was never over the line.
Yeah.
I think if it's goal line technology, that's it. Take away the rest of the rubbish. I think we'd be back to where it is, and we'd see a lift in that. But I think frustration more so from supporters and ex-players, I think.
It's the stoppages. There's too many stoppages. There's taking too long for throw-ins, taking too long for corners. We just, like you said, we want to watch football.
Yeah.
I do think what you mentioned about players in the previous generation, it is clear that every club had world-class players, or at least like the big clubs did. And now we are starting to see fewer of those. But what I want to ask you, as a captain in that era, when you first got the call to be captain of Chelsea,
Yes.
what is that experience like? Even first Chelsea and then we go England.
Yeah. Well, amazing actually. Really, it makes me go hairs on my arms, makes me stand up. It makes me feel really proud because I captained Chelsea for a very long time. I was 21 with Ranieri when I first became Chelsea captain, so I was really young.
Yeah.
And also at that time, we had people like Dennis Wise, Zola, Vialli was there, and these guys were kind of around the place helping and supporting me kind of fall into that role as well. The biggest one was when Mourinho first came in. It was a big signing that Porto had just won the Champions League, and we were in America on a pre-season trip, and he called me in the room. He was like, I love what I see about you. You're my captain. And before we played Celtic on a pre-season game, he was like, I want you to address the players before the game and give a speech. And I was like, it was like a minute before we went out. And I was
wow.
like,
So it put you on the spot.
yeah, I was like, I was flapping. I was like, okay. And I just delivered this speech to the players of going, I could feel what the rest of the players felt under Mourinho. You felt something special was happening. You felt the group and the levels lift to what it was in those pre-season trainings and training sessions and games as well. And I was like, something special's happening here. Let's make it a big season. And moments like that you kind of reflect on and stuff like that. People from the outside don't really see those moments and the connection. But me and Jose, still today, we're great friends, and I absolutely loved him.
That's beautiful.
I'd love to know that in that period, who was then your deputies? Deputies, not necessarily in title, but some of the players, your go-to players as a captain, when chips are down, you know that this guy is going to help me galvanize this team forward.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of credit at Chelsea because I had the armband on. There's 3 or 4 players behind that played a big supporting role in that to me. Frank was my vice captain for a very long time, and the standards and the performances that he delivered on a daily basis on those training sessions, he was a big driver in that. He was great in the dressing room. He was articulate. He was very different to me as well. We had different upbringings and stuff like that. Didier Drogba, in terms of being the king of Africa and the respect he had among the players, because we were so multi-cultural in the dressing room. We had English players, African players, Spanish players, Portuguese, and Peter Cech spoke 5 languages. Wow. So it was myself, Frank Lampard, Didier, and Peter Cech. And also, sometimes when you come in as a manager and you're the one shouting and screaming, the players over time can be like, it's the same voice, the same voice. So we had a really good balance of Jose speaking when he felt we needed to. Sometimes I would come in and I would speak. Sometimes Frank would articulate it probably a little bit better than I would have done. Sometimes Didier would come in and deliver, and the respect that the 4 of us had, because we were the stalwarts in that team, we were playing every week, we were winning trophies, we were there year after year raising our game as well. I think we had the respect of the dressing room.
I want to, again, bring it back to the current generation of Chelsea players based on what you've just mentioned. One, the importance then of having, because what it sounds like is that was a spine. That's the traditional term that they use. A spine that goes in, throughout the team from top to bottom. With the current generation, do you feel Chelsea are missing that? in any way, shape, or form?
There's not too many experienced players in that group as well that's going to be the supporting roles around them. So Enzo gives you that drive on the pitch. Reece is probably, again, that frank and more articulate in the dressing room and stuff like that. And again, I just think they need supporting roles. So probably some more experienced players is probably what's needed in terms of supporting these younger players, especially in difficult moments, because last year was difficult. You know, pressure from the supporters, from the owners, from the outside world. Sometimes you get together and sometimes stuff like that can make you stronger as well.
How do you think players in today's game with social media, the difference between that time and now, have to change the way they are as footballers with social media in mind? Because it is very different.
It's probably results reflected as well. I suppose if you win, you can pretty much do and say what you want. You can dance and smile at training and you can have fun and dressing rooms show the insights of stuff like that. I would just say if you lose and and again, authenticity that we speak about quite often, it's not like, oh, we'll be back again next week, we go again next week. Like that kind of cliche comment is kind of a throwaway, really.
Yes.
It's like, actually, if you're going to come out and say something, then go and do it and get to the nitty gritty of it, or stay silent, hold your voice and, you know, stay out of the way a little bit. But I think it's exposed to so many people and so many different generations as well. Like, if Chelsea lose, I don't want to see the Chelsea players a day or 2 days later smiling, laughing, joking. That's just my generation. That's how we are. My generation felt that. I would have a dinner booked on a Saturday night with my family and my wife and stuff like that after games. If we lost, I would say to my wife, we cannot go out. I cannot be seen in Chelsea thinking it's okay to be out after getting beat. Now, we didn't get beat often, so
He had
to throw it in there.
That didn't happen too much, but it's that feeling of, no, you can't go out. You have to feel the pain of that. When you go in the training ground a day, 2 days after you get beat, it needs to be, this is not a nice feeling. And Mourinho had that, Ancelotti had that, Conte had that. I think it's probably a little bit different now.
Because now you've seen players that even they have lots to say against the club sometimes. We've seen players talk out, even Mo Salah recently speaking on Liverpool, speaking on Slot, is, you know, now Slot's obviously not there anymore. What do you think of that, players having a voice now in terms of things they may not agree with?
I think it's good that players have got a voice. I think if you're playing and contracted to that club, probably needs to be done differently or via in agreement with the social media team and stuff like that. You could see, I think, with Mo that he was leaving, there was a little bit of, you know, something going on behind the scenes that we probably will never know about, but there was certainly a little bit of a,
bit of tension. Speaking of Mo and speaking of African footballers, you touched on Drogba. What was it like with that diversity of cultures within the dressing room? Can you tell us a little about those African players and what playing with them was, what that experience was like?
Well, I think the Premier League's been great for that because we've seen, since 2000, early 2000s, a lot of different players from different countries, African players like we spoke about, come into our dressing rooms and show us a way that is also really fun, like the music. All of this before the games is like, you guys are just like full of life. And that, for us, we're quite straight as Englishmen, and it's like, this is this, and you know, it's like, okay, you can enjoy it when you win, and we can dance, and we're not as good dancers as you guys, but we try. And it's stuff like that you get to see. I think more importantly, you get to hear and feel like from Kalou and stuff like that. I remember sitting with Solomon Kalou when he first signed for Chelsea, talking about his upbringing, his family, and you know, there was some boots and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to have these boots. He was like, can I have them? I'm going to send them back home for the kids. And it was like, mate, I have so many boots. Let's do something. Let's send a load of boots back for the kids, because you hear stories of going, these guys grew up not having boots, not having trainers, playing on dirt, playing on gravel. On me hearing that story, I thought I had it tough growing up as a young kid. My parents had no money. When you hear these insights, you connect with that player like that, and it feels like you're his brother. So when you go onto the football pitch, you have a connection that you'll fight and die for these guys as much as, you know, blood relatives as well. And I think that's really important to feel and understand that. And I think as my role as captain, that was probably really important to understand everyone's religions and all of that.
Also because of the fact that I think from a human level, this is also incredible for people that are watching to see that we are all different. We do grow up differently. and some more difficult than
Yeah.
than others. And yet we still can be in the same dressing room,
Yeah.
fight together, win trophies,
Yeah.
and I think that's the most beautiful thing to see.
And perhaps it's anecdotes like that that make that Chelsea side and many sides who have had a dominant era.
Yeah.
It's anecdotes like that that perhaps contribute
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Well,
to
well
the
again,
success of
off the
football.
back end of that, we bagged up a couple of big bags of boots for Solomon to send back, and the other players was that. And then by the end of the season, it's like we've sent maybe 50 big bags of boots back and different
Brilliant.
sizes
Yeah, yeah.
and this, that, and the other. You're throwing like old socks that I would consider old. Solomon was like, no, this is like, they'll see this as new, and you hear stuff like that. It's like, wow, you make an impact. The Premier League, football does that. Football's so powerful across the world. Like you say, you can be rich, poor. Football connects people like that around the world, which is great.
I can imagine there are tears all around Africa watching this right now. Just to lighten the moment up a fair bit, I wanted to talk about VAR and find out how John Terry would fare in this VAR era.
Probably a few yellow cards. Yeah, I wouldn't be a big fan. I don't think. I like the contact and all of that. And again, it's like the dark arts of the game when you're playing. Like when the ball's down the other end of the pitch, you have a little. I remember playing against like Messi and these guys. The ball was up there. You kind of give them a little kick or a little something in the back, and some guys will turn around and give you one back, and you go, okay, we've got a game today.
Yeah.
Other players wouldn't and keep quiet, and you go, I've got him. It's done. I've got an easy day today and stuff like that. So you find out very quickly who's up for the game, who's not up for the game as well. So those little bits, yeah.
You spoke about Messi. Can we talk about some of the most, the ones that kept you up at night, those matchups where you're like, this is going to be a tough game. So like the before.
How long we got?
Maybe let's
I'm
stick,
sure
maybe let's stick
that
with
was one.
Lionel Messi because
Yes.
with exactly what you just asked, I remember the Champions League game where at Stamford Bridge, it seems as if the pitch, there was something wrong with it and it wasn't great. He just made it look, he made it look much simpler than everyone else did. And I guess throughout your battles, you mentioned that you give him a nudge. There've been a lot of former players who've suggested that that was probably not the right thing to do because then that would just switch him on.
Yeah.
How were your battles with someone like who's, I mean, again, for a lot of people regarded the best to ever play the game?
Yeah, well, I think a couple just very quickly. Henri being the one in the Premier League, give me sleepless nights. Messi and Ronaldinho in the Champions League were phenomenal. You just cannot get near these guys. And again, defensively, we were very good. He played on Ashley's side on the right for them, on the left for us. So it was like you have to kind of come over. We get Makelele over. I would come over a little bit more with double up, triple up. But these guys are so good. I think the closest I got to him in his time at Chelsea was when I swapped shirts with him after the game. But, he's just a phenomenal player. He actually never scored against Chelsea in the Champions League in my era.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes. That is very
That's
true.
something
You
that
can
I
say
often
that.
tell.
You can say that all the time now. Never stop saying that.
I tell everyone. If you haven't heard, guys,
Never did score against John Terry's Chelsea. That is Lionel Messi. Again, as I mentioned, regarded by many, Miguel.
the best ever.
Regarded by many, Migs.
I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo.
Exactly.
Very biased. What was he like?
Again,
That's another.
incredible. Again, those two guys, they get compared quite a lot.
Yes.
Let's just enjoy them both.
Yes.
Enjoy. They've got. I don't know how long they've got left in them. Maybe 3 or 4 years. I don't know. But let's enjoy them both because, like, I prefer Messi over Ronaldo. Everyone can have that debate. These guys are the best ever, the best in the world. So let's just appreciate how good. And we're in a generation we can watch these guys and learn from them.
I want to ask, actually, again, that period, Chelsea's dominance, you had a couple of different sort of centre-back partners, but based on what I can remember, based on what we saw, Ricardo Carvalho was certainly probably the most dominant sort of centre-back partner for you. Or would you say that's fair to say? Or do you feel the likes of Branislav Ivanovic would make him and give a different dimension?
I would agree with Ricky, and I say that, and it just probably edges Gary Cahill and Desai because of the immediate impact and the connection that myself and Ricky had. So when Mourinho and Carvalho first come in, we won the league back-to-back after taking it off you guys, and Arsenal were dominating for many years before that as well. So it was a big statement in the Premier League. us two, we have the record still of conceding 15 goals in that period, which is incredible. And again, I spoke about earlier, you know, when people come in the building and you connect,
Yeah.
it was just like, I don't know, it's like we played together our whole careers as kids.
Seamless.
Seamless. He was quick, he was strong, aggressive, really good on the ball. He would often go on this crazy dribble.
Yes.
And I just remember every game, shout, Ricky, come back. Ricky, come back, don't leave me. Come back, trying to get him here next to me and stuff like that. But a really good guy off the pitch, really good fun, and a top player.
Something that Portuguese blood, hey?
Yes, yes. I'm a fan. I actually, at that time, I'm going to expose myself a little bit.
Go on.
As a United fan, I really liked Chelsea at that time. I was like, sure, this is a good team to watch. Fun team to watch, entertaining, like dominant. And I also really love Mourinho as well. Yeah. So having him come into the Premier League was absolutely...
And we're going to clip that and edit that. I've got my own back there.
Thank you very much. There it is. You fell for that one. You literally just fell for that one. In, I guess, talking 26, 27 once again, as far as Chelsea is concerned, you mentioned that you don't feel they've got the squad at the moment, again, based on some of the signings that are going to be made before the transfer window closes. You don't feel as if they've got the squad to really challenge. Who do you feel is in a good space at the moment based on exactly that from the rivals? Who do you feel is in a very good space? Is it Arsenal? Are they going to go back-to-back? Do you feel United?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel Arsenal. I think they're in a really good position in terms of looking at their rivals, looking at Chelsea. It's been unstable. We need new players in the building, like I said. Man United are transitioning, but they're coming back. It feels like they're going to be better under Carrick, and I think it's a great signing getting Carrick in the building. Steve Holland's there as well as a fantastic coach. Liverpool, there's been lots of change as well. Man City is going to be big change, possible points deduction as well. So for me, what an opportunity now. I think what Arsenal do in the transfer window this summer is going to be big. And I think Arsenal are just missing someone like an Henry that's going to go and get them 25, 30 goals a season, that just kind of puts them in a big position. I think if they do that, I think they can go back to back.
Do you think there is a player that they could get in mind, if you think about that player that will change everything? I hope they don't get him.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure actually. It's difficult out there, isn't it?
Especially with that position.
Again, there's not many players out there. Like Haaland's not moving, Kane's not going to Arsenal. So it's like, who do you go for after that? There's not many players out there that kind of guarantee you that. Back in my era, you could have kind of picked anyone, and you know, you're picking 20 players that you could have chosen from.
Sheesh, you're talking as if Victor Gyökeres doesn't exist yet. I mean, he deserves a second chance. He's had a decent
not a bad first season.
But it's been okay. Listen, I think his hold-up play, especially in the final, I thought was superb. So he gives you something different in terms of the hold-up play. But in terms of goals and the return, I think you'd need every top sides. You guys have had it. Van Nistelrooy, Rooney, Tevez when he was there, Man City, Aguero, Arsenal, Henry, Chelsea, Drogba, Lampard. The top teams have them. Fowler, Salah. There's so many. We could keep going. There's so many you could keep going. Arsenal are just missing that, I feel.
On Arsenal, I want to ask you one last thing about them, because they are the current champions. Going into this next season, people have a lot of criticism about the way that they play, and there have been comparisons made to their defensive abilities to your team back when you played. Do you find those comparisons also fair, or the judgment to Arsenal fair? Because it was almost the whole world was against Arsenal in the previous season, and it's like more people gave respect to Chelsea for their defensive abilities versus telling Arsenal they need to play more front-forward football. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually have not got a problem with Arsenal defending and playing the way they play. If they get a goal like we see in the Champions League final, it's their option then to sit back. We often done that at Chelsea, so I can't be too critical of that. We obviously have the record and they don't. We have the Champions League and they don't as well.
Just to remind you.
Just to remind.
The bullets.
Sorry, we've saved them. But, you know, it's difficult to break teams down. And when you are very good defensively, I thought the goalkeeper in Raya and the back four especially was superb. And this is why I'm saying, if you then get someone that's going to go and get you 20, 30 goals a season, that when you go 1-0 up, you go, okay, we're on the front foot here. We're going to make it 2-3-0. The game's done. But 1-0, like we see in the Champions League final, you're always on that balance of one goal and you end up losing on penalties. If they would have maybe taken it by the throat and gone, we're going to go on the front foot here, because as a player, you have to feel those games as well. You can have all the game plans in the world, but when you play PSG, and in the final, I think we'd all agree, PSG wasn't the PSG that we'd seen throughout the Champions League. So as a player, you go, okay, we've come in with a game. There is a chance here, and go for the throat, go for the jugular, and make it happen. Arsenal didn't do that and end up losing. So I think at times in certain games, you have to change your tactics and go, yeah, we can put the foot on the throat here.
Do you think Arteta will make those changes going into the season?
That's
He
a good
did say
question.
he wants to play more like Luis Enrique's PSG. They actually asked him, and he says he's definitely going to be changing the way that he plays.
And again, I think strength and depth in those wide areas, I think is probably big for them. You have Saka that side, Madueke, who I'm 50-50. I'm not sure on, to be honest. When he was at Chelsea, I didn't kind of like his style of football. I think if you improve those players, and again, I reflect to our time at Chelsea, you have Anelka, Kalou, Duff, Robben, Joe Cole. These guys, you take one off and you bring one on. I spoke about this off air. When you're a defender and you look up at the clock and there's 60 minutes to go, and Iron Robben comes on the pitch, you're like, Jesus Christ, I've got another 30 minutes of this. I've had 60 minutes of Damien Duff or Kalou or Anelka, and now I've got 30 minutes with this guy. It's a disaster. So the strength in depth, I think, is really important to Arsenal, and I think the sides over the coming year.
Okay, so I guess based on everything that we've just said then, particularly with this new season, where do you feel Chelsea realistically can finish? Number one. The second side to that question is your top four.
Okay.
I know it's terribly early to ask this, but
Yes,
here we are.
very early.
Here we are.
So if we have a good transfer window, I think we can push for a Champions League spot. That has to be Chelsea's ambition. Has to be because of historically that's where we've been. I think the top four is going to be Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, depending on the points of Man City for me. Chelsea,
Second.
Aston Villa.
Will you take that?
Second. Second is last, isn't it? If you're second, you lose. I'm very delusional, so I'm going to be predicting United to shock everybody, but what do I know?
Okay, so Arsenal, United, Liverpool,
Maybe.
potentially
Man City.
City,
Depends
and
how
then
many
you said
points.
Chelsea, Villa.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The
There
new
it is.
Big Six.
If I get this
Yeah.
correct, do I get a prize for this?
Yes.
You know, we'll
bring you on a safari.
We'll speak to the producer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the
And
producer
if
will
I
take
don't,
you on a
just don't
safari.
show it. Just fine.
Yeah,
Skip
yeah.
over this bit.
Take you to the Kruger. Sabi Sands, you know. Just,
Yes.
Yeah. JT, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
It
Thank you.
has been nothing less than a great joy to pick your brain. And Migs, I don't know if there's some parting words you want to share with
I want to
champion?
ask you one more serious question. As a footballer, footballers reach lows and highs that the general public would never experience. Because you have so many people behind you, whether it be the fan base, your country, what is that like, the lowest of lows and the highest of highs, lifting the Champions League? Can you talk us through, because people that go through difficult times and want to conquer that and come out on top, I think they can learn a lot from someone who's experienced both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. Well, I think the highs are the best bit about it, is why we play sport, because you want to win and all of that. You want to lift those trophies and share those moments. So those highs give you a taste of that. And when you get that, it's really powerful, because then when you don't get it, you feel what you're missing. I think the lows are really difficult to deal with, but again, you have people around you, and the supporters play a big role in this as well. So my biggest low in football was the penalty in Moscow against you guys.
Yeah.
My biggest low. And the following season, because it was the end of the season, I walk out to Stamford Bridge and the supporters get on their feet and sing my name. And for me, it makes me quite emotional now. It's really powerful. But when you have the supporters of Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, when these guys sing your name because you fight for the badge on the shirt and you fight for those guys, it's really important. So I can only kind of reflect that in terms of when you go through difficult times, just remember the people around you. And sometimes as well, you have to dust yourself down, even in the most difficult moments, and go again and get back on the horse. So if you foul, and everyone fouls in life as well, it's about getting back up and trying again and trying again and trying again. I think that's the best advice I could probably give.
That's beautiful.
That is.
You get knocked down, you get up again.
Absolutely.
There it is.
There's a song about that.
Once again, JT, great pleasure. Thank you so much
Pleasure.
for sharing some of your
Thank you.
insights, Migs. We appreciate it as always, sir. As are you watching at home. You've heard from John Terry, Chelsea's most successful captain, a man who, back in the 2006 FIFA World Cup, mind you, was voted in the team of the tournament. He is one of the greatest defenders of his generation. His name is John Terry. My name is Luazi Kubu. That is Miguel Priguero, and this has been SuperSport Unplugged.